Relationship Tenets of Emotional Bandwidth Part 2. Friendships and how they are affected by our romantic relationships, how to navigate them, and when it's best to let them go. Hi, this is Part 2 of a 4-part relationship series I'm doing, and this is Emotional Bandwidth. I'm Adrian. Let's get into it. Friends are an integral part of our personal growth and a big part of our familial structure. Some friends, and I can speak personally to this, are closer than some family members and have been through thick and thin with you. So what happens when you begin to get into romantic, committed relationships with other individuals outside of those friendships? How do they evolve? How do they change? They can in a myriad of ways. In a previous episode, I discussed the you, us, me, or yum concept to healthy relationships. You and me are the parts that friends are mostly involved in. They most likely supported you throughout this endeavor and will be there wherever this ends up, be it a lifelong commitment like marriage, or unfortunately, if it doesn't, last a fallout. With all of that in mind, it can be tricky navigating friendships within the realm and scope of that bond. Relativity is probably our best teacher. We don't know how good something is until we have something to compare it to. Friendships work in largely the same way as our romantic relationship. There is the you, us, and me, but chances are you aren't romantically involved, and as such there is a different level of commitment. Keep in mind, it is not less important, just different. But it requires acknowledgement from both friends and lovers. If you look at those circle or Venn diagrams, the overlap can become quite apparent the longer you have been with these different groups. So some interesting circumstances can arise. I could say from personal experience, if we as individuals do not find a good way to balance our friendship with our romances, it can be catastrophic to the dynamic and cohesion of both parties. I'm here to say it takes both friends and partners to accept and understand that as individuals, this is part of our growth. Companionship is a big part of our social makeup. And once we find a person that we see potential with as a partner, our friends have to give the me part of our relationship a chance to grow and see how the us with the romantic partner will develop. Within this window is when we usually see certain feelings and situations arise. These new bonds can stir up jealousy and resentment. Sometimes it is ill-placed, and sometimes they are critical of the romance. Knowing you and perhaps seeing some of the behaviors of the individual, they can tell it probably will not end well. But here's the catch. At the end of the day, it is their opinion, and most of the time, if they are your friend, they will accept this new part of your life. Ultimately, I think friends feel an innate sense of responsibility to you if they can see that the person you are with is not conducive to your personal growth and mental health. But they must also give you the space to see that. Oftentimes, out of frustration with your lack of awareness or blindness to the situation, they may throw out ultimatums and make it a them or me situation, and this is very dicey. Once again, we all learn and see things at different rates and times. What's obvious to you may not be so obvious to me, and while I should certainly take what you are saying into consideration, especially if you know and care about me, I have to ultimately make the decision to pursue something with this person, and as a friend, if that is what I decide, I need your support. Part of being a friend is knowing I will try to make the best decisions that I can, but even if I don't, you will be there to support me. Mistakes are a part of life and we all have to make them to learn. It's imperative that we don't put each other into corners and force each other to choose. Because sadly, if an individual does choose their relationship and the us over the other parts of their life, it will have direct consequences. I discussed this in a previous episode. Without that space that friends, family, and other important people in our lives fall into, we will suffocate the us and the romance of our relationship. So I just want to maintain our friends are important, but they also have to understand that their feelings about who we become enraptured with are just that. Whether they agree with my choices or not, I would hope that as my friend they will be supportive of me, even if that means I must go through some trials and hardships. There's a rap lyric that encapsulates the vibe of this situation perfectly. It's a song by Joe Budden called All of Me, and he goes, "Friends keep telling me leave, but I won't, 'cause she sees something in me that I don't, and I see something in her that y'all won't. If you never been in love, don't tell me I'm wrong." At the end of the day, we matter to each other, and that bond will either become stronger or weaker over time as we grow alongside each other and embark on our individual journeys to find companionship and love outside of our friends and family. Recognize we need each other, and just like the triangle dynamic in the you, us, and me, you both have to see the chance to grow alongside each other in your personal endeavors and create something separate and unique to your friendship in the us. Without it, Just like with romances, you are not giving yourselves the best chance to have passionate, fruitful, healthy, dynamic relationships and growth. Take care of yourselves as well as each other. Be there to pick me up when I fall, but give me the space to do so. This has been Emotional Bandwidth. I'm Adrian. See you next time.